Hello everyone and welcome back to Amity Bloom. Today's video is a short one but a sweet one, as I'm going to be playing around with some leftover scrap pieces from my printable pages that are in my shop, and I'm also going to be bringing back to life this floating pocket that I made out of piano paper. It's a little bit forgotten, and as you can see it's a little torn, so it needs a makeover, and that's what I've really been enjoying right now since I'm pretty busy working on some journals and projects. I like to create things that don't take that much time and that use up the materials that are on my desk. I always like to use a template, as I see that this kind of takes away a lot of the measuring and a lot of time, and it leaves more time for decorating, which is what I personally love. So I'm taking some gift tags and some tags that I had in my stash, and I'm using them to trace on the back of my paper. And I like to do it on the back just in case I make a mistake or go a little crooked. You can't even tell. You can just go over it since no one will see the back. So I'm tracing this design on my paper and then just cutting it out, and it looks as if that's how I purchased it. It looks as if I bought it from a store, which is what I really love about using templates that you do buy from stores, but just incorporating them into your own papers. I think one of the easiest ephemera pieces to ever make are tags, as you can use a template and then use the papers that you have that make you happy, and especially during this time when we're trying to get caught up with daily journaling. And for me personally, I have finals at my school and working on some holiday collection products I'm a little bit late on, and then I'm also moving, so it's a very busy time for me, and doing these projects allow for me to play with paper, play in my journal, and it gives me those 10 minutes that I need every day to create something that makes me feel really happy. And I think it's so important, if you're someone who's creative or if you love playing with paper and fabric, give yourself 5 or 10 minutes a day just to do something. It's just like a bodybuilder going to the gym every day. This is our workout. It's our creative workout. And if you want to take an hour to do it or 5 minutes to do it, just what you need to fit into your schedule and your lifestyle. So back to the project. I'm taking some piano paper and I made sure it fit within my ornate tag, and all I did was just fold and cut where I needed it to be. And what I like to do is add a little line with a fine point marker or pen, whatever you have that is dark, so that it can give a contrast. And this way it kind of looks like you sewed it just a little bit, and it makes it look as if the background is framing your journaling space, which I really enjoy. And I'm doing the same thing to some labels that I made out of piano paper, and I'm using that same technique, just outlining it with a pen. And what's really fun about this is that you could do different colors. So if you enjoy playing with colors and have a more colorful journal, then definitely experiment with all the colors of the rainbow, as I think it would look really cute and be really fun. And you can see instantly how it made your journaling space come to focus, and when you journal on top of it, it kind of feels like you're journaling in a special place that you created for your own memories. So now moving on to my abandoned little floating pocket. I promise it's going to look amazing in the end. It's a little bit on the rough side, but we're going to fix it up. And I'm taking some scrap paper from a Maggie Holmes paper pad. I believe it's the Heritage collection. And I really enjoyed this paper as it's black and white, which goes with everything, and the color palette that I was trying to do. And for this little tag, I wanted to create one without a template, just to show you how easy it is. You just trim a little corner and you use that same corner to then cut the other part. That way you have an even shaped tag. And if you don't do this, then you might end up with a wonky tag, but it's still a tag. It's still beautiful. We don't discriminate. No tags or tags' feelings were hurt in the making of this video. You'll just end up with a really peculiar and kind of odd tag that has a really great memory attached to it. So now I'm taking some double-sided tape, and I'm going to be adding this pocket that I actually trimmed from one of my digital wallpapers. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did previously. I'm using a piece of paper and turning it into a label and outlining the edges so that it stands out. And I want to say thank you so much to everyone that has purchased the digital wallpaper set. I know you guys fell in love with them, and I had so much fun making them. And so I will be creating more. I'm in the process of creating more. It's just taking me a little bit of time as I'm trying to work on so many things at the same time, but they will be coming. And now I'm taking my trio of tags and they need to find their home in the floating pocket. So what I typically like to do is add the biggest tag in the back pocket, kind of like a background tag. And then I put my two smaller tags in the front pocket and those kind of become like my accent tags. I typically like to put the most colorful ones or the most intricate ones on top so that it adds more dimension and focus to the pocket. And now I'm taking a little scrap piece from my French receipt papers, and luckily it was the same size lengthwise as my floating pocket, which rarely ever happens. So all I need to do is fold it and just cut the part that I need. And in the beginning, I wanted to cover up that full piece, but I thought it would be really fun to do a half paper slash half fabric decoration on top. So hopefully the idea in the end turns out really well. But I'm just taking the paper and gluing it at the bottom. Sometimes when we can't decide on using a certain piece of paper or fabric, why not use both and just make it work? It's just like in life, like you're presented with certain scenarios and you wish you could pick between one or the other, but sometimes you just need to do both and make it work. And that's exactly what this project was like, and I loved it in the end because I followed my instinct and it turned out being one of my favorite pockets that I've ever made just because of how I used the materials that I had and how I incorporate them in a way that they all kind of fit together. And to finish my collage off, I decided to use one of my postage stamps. These are also digitals from my shop. I really enjoyed this one because of the floral, and I thought the colors went really well with the reds and the pinks and the tags and then the other papers. It brought more vibrant colors to the bottom of my layout, which I really enjoyed. And so this is such a fun and easy project. You don't need that many supplies and you just need a few tags to use as a template to start off and then create a little floating pocket. It can be a lot simpler than the one that I have here, but the great thing is that you can journal on the back and then tuck your ephemera pieces in the front pockets. And what I love to do is either put the entire floating pocket in a pocket in my journal, or I like to take some masking tape and create a little tip-in page. This is probably my favorite way of using these pockets as they add a lot of dimension to your journal. It makes it look as if it's another page within your journal. And I like to use masking tape because it blends in with the colors of the tea stain papers and the piano paper, but you can surely use washi tape as well. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, until next time, I hope that your day is filled with a huge abundance of peace and love, and I will talk to you guys very soon.